Hi guys, thanks very much for having me on today. It is a privilege and an honour to be asked to present for professional beauty. And today I want to talk about email, why it's not dead, why it's very much still alive and kicking, and how you can actually incorporate email into your marketing mix to help engage in your clients, generate more sales, build better relationships. Everything nowadays you see is just so based online in terms of social media. It's like, oh, I've got to be good at Instagram or Facebook. And whilst, yes, that's important, it's still possible to still make great return on your investment with many of the more traditional forms, if you like, of marketing as well. And email is very much included in that category. So before we dive in too much, for the benefit of anyone who doesn't know who I am, because this is the first time I've taken the professional beauty stage, as it were. My name's Ryan Power. I'm a beauty business coach. I'm a best-selling author, and I'm also a fully self-confessed marketing geek. My wife Holly and I own the coaching brand Salonology. Here we are at one of our recent events. You can work out which is which. But what I also want to let you know, here's my book. This is #1 bestseller on Amazon. The customer is always right. But also, Holly and I, we do get it because this is our day spa. We actually are beauty business owners just like you. This was our day spa, which Holly started nearly 11 years ago. We actually sold it in January of this year after more than 10 years of salon ownership. So the reason why I'm telling you that is because what I'm about to share with you is tried and tested in a beauty business, okay? It's not textbook rhetoric which has all been made up. It's actually been tested in both our business and in the businesses of the other salons that we coach. And just I pulled these figures in January, and you can see for our spa we'd sent at that point 433,000 emails, and with our Salonology brand we had sent over nearly 250,000 emails. So, and I'm showing you that because I just want to demonstrate I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to sending emails. These are real numbers, and you're going to be able to generate some of the great responses that we had. When we owned our day spa, email was actually the #2 way that we introduced clients into our business. So anyone who tells you that email doesn't work, simply not true. So first and foremost, go grab a pen and a bit of paper because you're going to want to scribble and take some notes for all of this. I go pretty quick for anyone who's not familiar with my world. So you're going to want to grab pen and a paper. So let's get cracking, shall we? It's not dead. Whilst why email is still very much alive and kicking, and importantly, how to do it. I'm not just going to give you the why, I'm going to tell you how. If that sounds good, put a yes in the comments. Say, I'm ready, Ryan. Let me know you're there. Let me know you can hear me. And let's get cracking. The problem, first and foremost, with email is that most people are doing it wrong. Okay, that is the problem. The type of email they're sending is just not the correct type to get the response that they want. And they send the wrong type of email, and they also send them too infrequently as well. So my goal for today is to show you a new way of doing this, which will result in more client interaction. It will result in more bookings. It also takes less time for you. It doesn't require any tricky technology. It's free to do by and large, and that your clients will love. Does that sound good or what? Put yes, Ryan, in the comments if that sounds good to you. First of all, a question for you. Does this look familiar? Oh, who's seen emails like this, right? Yeah, we get them all the time, don't we? We get them from the big high street retailers. We get them from the supermarkets. They send this type of newsletter type email, okay? Full of images, big tents, all flashing colours, all these sorts of things. Now, the next question for you is, would you rather receive an email from one of your friends or a newsletter type email from one of the supermarkets? Now, most people would say they'd rather get an email from one of their friends, okay? And yet time and time again, I see business owners mimicking those newsletter style emails which you get from the supermarkets. Here's the thing, right, folks? We are hardwired to open, read, and enjoy emails from our friends. So why don't we just model those instead? Wouldn't that make much more sense? And you know the type I'm talking about. They might only be 2 or 3 lines long. How's your week been? Do you still fancy joining up on Friday for some wine? Yes, I do. Okay, that type of email, as opposed to this type that is the newsletter style. So look, the problem with those newsletter emails, I mean, there's multiple problems. First of all, they just don't work as well as they once did. They did have a time when they were popular and successful. Now, not so much. Because they get stuck in filters, okay? They don't look good on mobile a lot of times. So it looks great on your computer, but how does that then translate to a mobile device? Often not very good. A lot of the time the images don't load. So you've got this big sparkly image on there, but it takes forever to load. And if the client's receiving it, maybe on their mobile, maybe without being connected to Wi-Fi, the image might not even load. And then you've just got a big white space and just the name of the file. Doesn't look very good. But also, they are typically viewed as a thinly veiled sales pitch, because you know, when you get those emails through from Boohoo or Misguided or whoever, these big high street retailers, you know that at some point in that email there's going to be a pitch for their latest range, or there's going to be some sort of discount code or something like this. So people know that that's coming, and a lot of people don't like being sold to in that way. And also, do you know what? Most people don't care. Most people don't care about the news that is within a newsletter. So if you're currently sending that type of email, then I'm going to show you what you can do instead. Now, this is the most simple way you can do it. If you send a traditional newsletter email that's maybe got 4 little sections in there that you've filled out all your details of your news, all you need to do is simply split that up into 4 plain text weekly emails. And what I mean by that is a plain text email is the same sort of email you would send to one of your friends. It doesn't have giant fonts and flashing images and bells and whistles, and it's not all been professionally designed by a designer and put into your MailChimp account, okay? You can still send it through MailChimp, but you don't need to, you just need to do it like you would send an email to one of your friends, okay? So it's the same information, but it's delivered differently. So if you currently send 1 a month, which is not even close to being regular enough, you can divide it up, same information, but you schedule them to go out once per week. And here's why this works, okay? First and foremost, it's more personal. People want to get an email from one person. They don't want to get an email from big businesses, okay? There's a misconception that everyone wants to deal with big business. It's not true. Also, people buy from people and not from brands, okay? It's difficult for people to get an association with a brand. It's very, very easy to relate to someone on a one-to-one basis, especially when these are people who are coming into your business. It will also help to build and cement relationships, because people want to know the person behind the brand, okay? So I'm going to encourage you to share more personal information in your emails as well, like you would when you send it to a friend. But also, you stay front of mind. On average, we get 140 emails per day. So if you're only sending 1 a month, that's just not going to get noticed. You're not going to get remembered. You're not going to get recognized. By sending 1 a week or 2 a week, or heck, even 3 a week, you're going to stay front of mind. And when your client is then ready to invest in the services that they're looking for, or the treatments that you provide, you're going to be automatically front of mind, because you're going to be in their inbox just a lot more regularly. But because of the type of email that you're going to, or I'm going to suggest that you start sending, you're not going to be a pest, and you're not going to keep getting put in the spam or the junk folder or even in the bin, because people are actually going to be a bit more interested in what you've got to say. More people are going to be responding to your emails, I guarantee that, if you make the switch to sending this type of email, because people think it's just sent from 1 to 1. People are actually going to start responding to your emails. You're going to see a huge spike in a response rate to your emails. You're also going to get more people open your emails, okay? Wonderful, that's half the battle. And as a result, you will find that your sales will increase, you will build stronger relationships with your clients, and you will go from an inbox pest to a trusted friend. Doesn't that sound good? Does that sound good? Type yes if that sounds good to you. And this all starts with moving away from the newsletter style. Very, very simple to do. You simply get rid of those templates and you start writing as you would a normal email, like you would if you were actually in your own private Gmail or Hotmail and you just started typing an email to your friend. You wouldn't start sticking all loads of pictures in there and flashing fonts and big text and pink writing. You wouldn't do any of that. So don't do it with your clients either. So, a few key takeaways for you. Key takeaway number 1, start writing emails as though you're emailing a friend. And in an ideal world, you should imagine you're writing to just one person. That person, of course, should be your dream client. You should know who your dream client is, who it is you're trying to attract. You need to write as if you're writing to them. And I'd recommend you write it in a chatty and far less formal style. And you should make it look as if it's from one person to one person. Never start your emails with dear everyone or dear all or dear subscriber or anything like that. Use their name if you can, but make it read as though you've written it just to one person. You want to space it all out, yeah? So it's nice and easy to read. Make it visually appealing to the eye and go easy on the photos. You don't need loads of photos in every email you send for the reasons that we identified at the start. Key takeaway number 2 is that you don't need to be talking about business all of the time. This is one of the key reasons I see people falling down, but it's also one of the main reasons why people can't think of anything to write in their emails. Because they think it's all got to be about business. It doesn't have to be. People want to know about the person behind the brand. People buy people. So don't be afraid to pull the curtain back a little bit and reveal some of your magnificence to your clients. Ultimately, if you want them to come and spend money with you, they need to like you, they need to know you, and they need to trust you. This process will help you with all of that, okay? And business can and should be fun. So have some fun with it, okay? And on a side note, the number 1 marketing sin is being boring. So open up a little, have a bit of fun with it, okay? If something funny happened in your life this week, share that with your audience. They'll be pleased to see it. They get enough boredom and they get enough doom and gloom in their inbox already without you contributing to it. If people start to look forward to your emails because they think there's going to be something interesting or entertaining in there, then it's going to make your life as a marketer much, much easier. So key takeaway number 3, and I hope you're writing these down. Key takeaway number 3 is tell stories in your emails, okay? Again, we're positive. We are hardwired, aren't we, to respond positively to storytelling. It was the last thing we did every day, didn't we? For like the first, 17 years of our life or something. Just me? Okay, just me. But you get what I'm saying, right? So you went to bed and your mum or dad would read you a story. So we're hardwired to respond to stories. So you should include them. In fact, you should include them in all of your marketing, but it's particularly easy to weave them into your emails. And these can be stories about you. They can be stories about your team, stories about client successes that you've had, stories about anything. It doesn't matter what the stories are necessarily about. But get into the habit of telling stories. It'll make people more interested in what you're saying. They won't just feel that you're selling to them all the time, and it'll make them more likely to read and engage with your emails, okay? You can also use open loops and cliffhangers. So if you watch EastEnders, how does every single episode of EastEnders end? Dum 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 dum. It's a cliffhanger, isn't it? Because they want you to come back the next day or whenever it might be, I don't watch it, whenever it might be, to catch the next episode so you can find out what happens. You can do the same with your emails. It's called an open loop, where you have an email and you say, you tell half the story and then you suggest that if they want to find out the rest of what happened, then they're going to need to read tomorrow's email. And this is a very, very clever way of telling stories. You will get much better at this with practice. It might sound overwhelming right now because the idea has just been given to you, but you will get much, much better. Key takeaway number 4 is don't be selling all the time, because people are soon going to turn off rather, and they will stop opening your emails, and eventually you will get unsubscribes all the time. And I find it works well if you adopt the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, add value, tell stories, entertain, educate, and then 20% of the time you can sell. You've got to earn the right to sell in your emails, in the same as you do on social media. It's true everywhere, okay? You've got to earn that right, and you earn the right by adding value first. So here's what you can do instead if you do want to sell something. This is a good little takeaway tip, is you can send a value-filled email. So value-filled email might be 5 skincare tips for lockdown, or 5 ways to get beach ready when we're out of this, or whatever it might be, whatever is relevant to you and your level of expertise in your business. And then you promote using the PS. So for example, you might write a nice long piece all about 5 top skincare tips, and then you sign off, and then underneath that you put PS. If you still need extra skincare, where our online shop is still open, click here for our product recommendations. Key takeaway number 5, don't constantly promote offers or last minute spaces. This one absolutely kills me, and so many people do this on social media as well, and it's such a big turn off, because you've got to think about the message this is sending to your clients. Are you telling them that they should just always wait for an offer? Why ever pay full price because I know an offer's coming at some point? Or maybe you're telling them that they never need an appointment. If you keep saying, we've got spaces, we've got spaces, we've got spaces, why would anyone ever make a reservation for an appointment with you when they know that they can just wait until the last minute? Key takeaway number 6 is to be different. I said earlier that the number 1 sin in marketing was being boring, but you also want to make sure you're different. And by the way, your competition will not be doing this. They will be sending those same template emails from MailChimp that everyone uses, right? Be different and you're going to stand out. And don't be so naive as to think that your clients aren't on the mailing list for other businesses as well, because they almost certainly are. So this is automatically going to make you stand out, and it's also going to make you have your voice heard, because as I say, people are actually going to be responding and taking on board what you're saying because it's words and they're going to read it, as opposed to just scanning over a newsletter style. The most valuable resource of the modern age is attention. If you can get your client's attention, then half of the battle is done. And many of the other marketing channels are seriously overcrowded. So everyone at the moment is going crazy on Facebook. Everyone is going crazy on Instagram, aren't they? So you can make your business stand out by adopting some other channels. And I'm not saying do this instead of, I'm saying do it as well as. But it's definitely an easy thing for you to do. It's much easier to have your voice heard when there's less noise, okay? Less competition in that inbox right now. Key takeaway number 7 is to sell the click. What is the most important part of an email? It's, drumroll please, the subject line, okay? The subject line is the most important part of an email because it's going to determine whether or not someone opens your email. If you can't get past that, you're not going to get anywhere, okay? And the purpose of the subject line, the sole purpose, the only thing it's there to do is to get your email opened. It's not there to summarize the email in under 10 words, okay? Which I find is sin numero uno, okay? We get this all the time. Have a look when you start receiving emails. Look at the subject line. Start paying attention to what other people are doing. Because if they've just summarized the email in 10 words in the subject line, why bother opening it, okay? You want to just get them to open it, and then you can take as much time as you want to discuss what it is you're talking about. People will scan their inbox, okay, before they open it. So think about which you open and which you don't. And maybe think about why, and think about if there's a pattern to that. Think about how you can adopt those patterns for your own business. What can you learn from what other people are doing? A couple of tips to help you get more emails opened. I thoroughly recommend that you ask more questions. So again, ask a question in the subject line. People are more likely to want to try and respond to that or find out the answer and therefore click. You also should use intrigue. This one weird tip, you know, that type of thing. People are like, oh, I want to know what that is. Or it might say, oh, the number one secret to ... Wow, people are going to open those sorts of emails. You can use emojis in your subject line. Again, it's going to make you stand out when someone is scrolling that whole list of emails in their inbox. You're going to want to make sure they click on yours. So that's one way you can stand out. If you use software that lets you do name merging, then use their name. Again, in the subject line, it's more likely to draw their eyes to it, more likely to get opened. And overall, you've got to make sure that you can stand out. Don't give it all away in the subject line, okay? Make them click through, make them find out a bit more. So let's recap the key takeaways then. So number one, start writing emails as though you're emailing one of your friends. Number two, you don't need to be talking about business all the time. Number three is that you should be telling stories in your emails. Number four, don't be selling all the time. Number five, don't constantly promote your last minute spaces. Honks of desperation. Number six is you should be different. Number seven is to sell the click. Okay, so if you're still not sure what to send, then here are a few emails that you can try this week, okay? So number one is the top tips email. So again, you send an email and it's just got some of your best tips in there. Might be, as I said earlier, 5 ways to improve your skincare, or 3 things you can eat this week that's going to make you feel better, whatever it might be. Number 2 is the lockdown email, right? Just tell a bit of a story about what's going on in lockdown, that you're looking forward to coming back, whenever that might be, the exciting changes that you're making. Make it positive, folks. People don't need more doom and gloom right now. Number 3 is the back soon email. So again, moving on from the last one, you can actually start telling people a little bit about exactly what's going to be coming and how you're looking forward to serving them again. Number 4 is the Q&A email. So again, you're going to be asked questions all the time in your business. Your clients who ask you questions, if one asks it, there's probably another 20 that are thinking it. So a brilliant way that you can pretty much have an unlimited amount of content for your emails, your videos, your blogs, everything, is just answer questions that you get asked all the time. You could do a whole load, but personally, I would divvy it up and just answer 1 question per email. And the 5th one is the meet the team email. Again, pull back the curtain and let your clients in and let them know a bit more about your staff, what they like to get up to out of work, what their favorite TV shows are, anything, because people are going to relate to that. They like to relate with other human beings, okay? Number 6 is the what do you want to see email. So again, if you're stuck for what to write about, ask people what they want to see. You'll be amazed at how many people will tell you if you just ask the question. And the 7th one is the take a look at this email. So this works well if you've already got particularly a well-performing blog piece or a video that you've posted somewhere, and you can simply email to your client saying, I've done this and actually I really think you would like it. If you're interested, just take a look here. And this can act as a really good booster, especially if you've just done a video online or a blog. You'll get a whole surge of immediate traffic, which is a great online indicator for social media networks to send more people there. So that's a really good little tip as well. Okay, going to hang around for some questions, but if you are on Instagram, then you can follow me. It's @It's Ryan Power. You can come and join our free Facebook communities and our Facebook page. If you just put Salonology in Facebook, then you will find all of ours. And if you would like a free copy of my #1 best-selling book, The Customer Is Always Right, and 7.5 Other Outdated Myths Which Are Destroying Your Beauty Business, then you can have one for free. Just pay the post and packaging. Send me an email. It's ryan@salonology.uk, or reach out to me on social media and I'd be delighted to furnish you with a copy for free. The very first chapter goes a lot more deep on this and explodes the myth of why sending newsletters is good for your business. So thank you again for having me to Professional Beauty. I really appreciate it. And now we will open up for any questions.